Okay, there we go. Okay, everybody. We have Natalie, Rita, me, and Lisa here tonight, and I know everybody else will be listening. Just remember, as you listen, if you'll just open up that email, type in your questions, and throw them through the Google group so that we can all know that you're there and present. A really tough part of asynchronous work like we do is helping everybody know that the other people are real. And this first couple weeks is really important because we as teachers have to build trust among ourselves. And then we also, that trust that we build among ourselves will extend to our students. So that's just very important. So here's our agenda for tonight. I will bring up some slides in just a minute. We are first going to start off with each of us kind of giving an update, any questions we have right now, that sort of thing. I am going to take you through the tutorials I post on Friday. I'm not going to redo the tutorials. I'm just going to kind of show big picture a few things. So we'll talk about the classroom and student handshake going on now, and then we'll talk about the stuff coming up next week and the following week so that you'll kind of have a picture 3 weeks out so for planning purposes. And we'll answer questions that need to be answered. And I've got quite a few screenshots and that sort of thing to kind of review where we are and what needs to happen this week for sure. So I'm going to take you guys through that. Now, everybody, if you just want to say, hey, where you're from. I know that, Rita, you were here. Were you here last week, Rita? Yeah, I know Natalie was.
I watched it later. I was on a tutoring job.
Cool. Cool. Okay. So we're just going to all say who we are so that we know, the four of us. Okay. And then hopefully everybody will get to join in. But Rita, we'll let you start.
Okay. Well, I'm Rita Gerhardt. I am the middle school tech coordinator at ULA School, which is a private school in Maryland, outside of DC. I have a small group of kids in tech. It's a choice for 8th graders, a major and a minor option. My major's just started MadLearn. So I'm actually still trying to figure out how this is all going to work and catch up. And I've been going through all the resources and everything. And to be honest, I'm still not sure I'm there. Especially maybe because we did it. We're in it right now. We're in lesson 5. Also, you might be able to hear it. I've been sick all week, so I've been trying to, kind of keep it all together. But I'm looking forward to just hearing what you all have to say. I wrote down some questions, and I realized one of them I said, I'm still figuring out what my questions are. So that's kind of where I am. But I'm hoping, I'm excited. And I'm hoping I can make sense of everything and pull it off.
You can. And then Rita, also know we've got the Skype group. You can Skype me anytime if you need a little extra help. And Lisa and the others, we're just here to support each other and help each other. And this is an alpha project.
Yeah.
Once we run this, next year, people are going to be able to look back at what we've done. But right now, there's nothing I can point to for the actual app development except what my own students did with this approach last spring. So we have 2 apps live on the Apple App Store that we use this method just with my own students, but not collaborative between classes. So, it is a little bit of learning, but we'll take you through that today. Natalie, you want to say hey to Rita?
Hello, Rita. And you're not alone, so don't feel that you are. I am in a really kind of a crazy middle like you. My students started at the very beginning of the year, and when we started, we worked up to the point where we were ready to plug in, and that was when we realized that the winning of the ISTE licenses expired January 1st, and that was where you really did help me and my class out tremendously, because they were like, oh, you got to be kidding. And I'm thinking, I'm not kidding. And I said, but there is this way. There's another group started, and if I join it and get accepted, we would be able to have this opportunity to move forward. And they're like, you should do it. And I'm like, so my students was pushing me. I did that little, I believe, this is strange. I knew you, Vicki, through your presence online and different things that I've followed you through. I mean, I've watched you present. I've watched you as a keynote through Periscope, believe it or not. Like, how strange is that? But I've been watching you from afar. And the same thing with Angela. Angela, some of her Choose to Matter campaign, I've taken that into my classroom. I've worked with that this year. I've taken a different approach, and I am a visual arts teacher and middle school level. My 8th graders have taken a new approach because we were doing project-based to our passion projects. And this year we've taken the new approach to how can we have our art communicate a bigger message, take it to the world. And when we do digital portfolios, and I've had all of my students on digital portfolios since 2010. So taking that to the world, like with their artwork, we've done that, but it's different in that they're trying to solve a problem with this approach. So where some of them had watched the tutorial on the little girl that had the jelly wristbands for their app creation, they thought that was great. And so the creative in the design element of trying to do an app, but making it connect to an art world was kind of intriguing to me. And then that's, where it all came together. So my students are now on their journey with writing out all of the information for our student page. And today, because we had the wiki issue, yes, we had a wiki issue. And it's not with my tech here at home, it's with my tech at school. So I'm working with my technology department, and I actually went to my principal today. I had a hall meeting, so to speak, with him walking from point A to point B. And I said, can I walk and talk to you? And he's like, yes, let's go. I'm going to the gym. I'm like, we're going. I'm going with you. And with that stride and approach, I explained to him my dilemma where I had followed the protocol of doing a help desk ticket that our technology department has requested, but it wasn't speedy enough for me. And I know that doesn't sound very nice for a tech person on the other side of it. They're like, yeah, those darn teachers.
Yeah.
But when you need something,
you need it now.
I need it now. And, we don't have that, used to the help desk tickets had an urgent thing. Like, is it urgent? Can it wait? Is it, can we get to you next week? Well, the help desk tickets, let's just say they have piled up to the point where they're trying to rethink how to visit the help desk tickets. Well, I'm in the pile underneath it all. And so that was what Mr. Osborne is resolving for me today. And I did approach him, and I did specifically say, I need a favor. He's a brand new principal to me. And so I'm really trying to do my best by the kids and to meet my project deadline. So that's where I'm at right now.
Can I give you an option that may help you while you're waiting?
Yes.
Do you have access to Google Docs?
We did that today.
Okay, so I was going to say, you could do it on a Google Doc, and then you could cut and paste it when you get home. I hate to say that, but we had a project once. Lisa, you'll remember Ann Murchison in Australia, and her school wouldn't give her access to anything. And so the beginning of the project, it took her 2 weeks, but the beginning and during the handshake, she had to do some cutting and pasting at night, and that has happened before. So
I will do that.
Yeah, and then that'll be okay, and the kids, you'll just have to figure out, you can download those wiki pages on like a thumb drive for the other ones to show them what the other kids are doing if you need to. At home, you can go file, save as, save that page onto a thumb drive maybe, and try it to show them at school. These are the other classrooms. Because like for me, I'm looking at Thursday having my handshake stuff up. So, it may take a few days anyway. Now, Dawn, do you want to say hello? I guess you're sick. I saw you were not feeling good, huh? I can't hear Dawn, Lisa, there. There we go. We hear you now.
Yeah, I'm nursing a cold and have been this past weekend, so I was glad for being able to mute it so y'all couldn't hear me.
Yeah.
Well, we've accessed the wiki, and I put my clock up, but then I saw some stuff going back and forth today, and I haven't had a chance to revisit it about on the wiki space putting up our our spring break dates. And I hadn't gone to the wiki page and seen like where you want that, because I was unclear. I was hoping maybe it had been updated, but I today was kind of nuts, so I hadn't seen that part yet.
Well, I'm going to take you through everything of where you need to be. Let's make it simple. And if you're Lisa, do you want to say hey to everybody? Lisa's our genius behind the scenes. See, she won't even turn her mic on, doggone it.
Wait a minute. I'm no genius.
Yeah. Hey,
No,
you're a
I'm
genius
being-
and the world needs your contribution.
No, I don't. No.
Okay, so let me share my screen and make this go live here. You're about to see yourselves on what you look like on my desktop. Share screen, play. Okay, can you guys see what I have up right now? Can you see that? Just say it. You can just do this and then I can tell.
We
Cool.
can. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So at this point, make sure you've joined the Skype chat group. That's for quick answers. I guess everybody's joined the wiki. What you should have up on your screen right now is what I have. If you want to have the Zoom group chat up, if you don't know how to bring it up, let us know. Any of these things I say, you just type in, I need help, and we'll help you, okay? So, and I think I'm missing somebody on my, is it just not showing me everybody? Oh, it's not. I wish it was.
Junior is not here. We have Natalie,
Junior's not
Dawn,
here.
Rita, you, and Susan Beard, and we know where she is.
Yeah.
So
It's
Junior's the missing link.
Is Rita?
Rita is here, aren't you?
Yeah, Rita's here.
Okay.
Some
I
of
just
them
don't
are,
see her.
it's probably just showing for,
I'm
you
here.
have to go up, down, and sometimes it doesn't show people, so I just went down on mine.
Yeah,
It kind of threw me too
she's here.
because somebody disappeared. Okay, remember our hashtag is apps that matter, and I saw somebody using that one today. I can't remember who it was. You can do thumbs up if it was you because I was tweeting somebody who'd used it today. Our schools page is showing on schools. That's where we add our school information. Our calendar page is just calendar. You can find it on the right-hand side. I'm going to take you through that in a minute. And Google Group is, you'll get Google Group emails from me. We try not to communicate unless there's something kind of important going on. Or if you think there's a question that everybody needs to know the answer to and be on the same page, you can, Lisa, were you able to open that up in the Google Group so everybody can email to it now? You found that button, didn't you?
Who, me?
Yeah, did you find that button so everybody can email to the Google Group now? They don't have to go onto the Google Group page?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah,
I did find
so
it.
you can just reply to those messages. Yeah, you can reply to those messages now and they'll go to everybody. So that is a thing that we've added. So we've already gone over our update. Now I'm about to go to this page with our sort of our lesson plan and work for this week. Can you guys still see my screen? Yes or no? Somebody's gonna have to say because I can't even see you guys anymore.
Yes.
Lisa, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes,
can.
we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on the wiki here, and this is, so if you look on the right-hand side, I've got this says current lesson plan page. This is going to be wherever I have the current stuff going on, okay? So we'll put this in here. We'll put them in reverse order. Now you'll see something called tutorials. There's two kinds of help files. There's tutorials. Tutorials have videos. And then there's help files, and helps is just text. Now, when you see this little bitty edit, that's actually a little baby wiki page we've embedded in the larger wiki page. That's just to help us be able to find stuff. All pages shows us every single page on the whole web, okay, or on the whole site. And then these are just quick links that we need. And it looks like I've got to clean it up a little bit. It's not looking too clean there. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the 4 big things we've got going right now. We've got add our school name to the schools page. You've got a quick tutorial video to show you. Now, guys, we need feedback on how we're doing these pages, if anything needs to change, that sort of thing. And on the schools page, you can see at the top on this page, we've got related tutorials. So if you see, oh, I need to update the schools page, you can click and you should be able to see the tutorials at the top of the page. So you'll just edit this page and you'll add your information, and then you'll add your clock information. Now, I've got to go back and do like Dawn did because hers looks better than mine, and mine was way too long. I was kind of in a rush. We like to put the dates. Now, it's not as important with everybody a U.S. school, but when you go international, as we probably will in the fall, you'll want to have the date in there because of the time differences that you have. So everybody needs to be added and on here. If you have trouble with either piece, how to add to the schools page and how to embed your clock is right there, okay? Any questions on the school's page? Just type it in the chat. I'm going to make this go minimum and maybe I can see the chat. Here
I
we
don't
go.
see
Maybe this
any
is better.
questions in the chat.
Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this in order. We'll get to the dates in a minute. Okay, now right now students are in kind of the handshake mode. And what I did with my students today is I did was talking to them about some research about this whole concept of happiness and mattering. And I teach a lot of boys. So if I go right into this you matter thing, the boys are going to be like, not doing it, right? So there's some interesting research that I share on a blog post about joy journaling that actually showed that after 6 months, people who write down 5 things that they're happy about or have gratitude about are actually happier after 6 months than people who win $1 million in the lottery. And I shared that research with the kids who don't believe. And we talked about this whole idea of happiness, and we have a happiness set point, kind of like a metabolism, and how can we increase our happiness set point? And there are 2 ways. There's exercise that can increase your happiness set point. And there's things like, the journaling piece of it. I had them list a list of everybody who they felt like they mattered to. And then I had to make a list of people that they felt like that that really mattered to them. And then I had them write in parentheses, how do you know that you matter to those people? And put in the parentheses. The other thing you have to be prepared for if you do something like that is that you'll have some kids with really short lists, okay? Really, really short lists. And, you can usually tell them because they'll just put their hand over it. And that's kind of your signal to know this kid might really struggle with knowing that they matter. Because I point out that most of us have a way that we see the world. And we have that happiness set point that we see the world. And some people see the world in a happier way than others. And some of us tend to be really hard on ourselves. But the importance of knowing that they matter. And I tell a little bit of Angela's story. She will be recording her keynote on Wednesday, and then we'll have that. But we just we had conversations today. I didn't take a grade. We just had conversations on this whole idea of mattering, how that's related to your happiness and your self-esteem and that sort of thing. Now, Mark Moran and Angela are updating her Map Your Heartbreak page, which we'll be getting into, and that also has some activities on it. And I have a link to it on this page down here in just a minute. You may introduce the whole concept of mattering as much as you want to. I don't really show Angela's TED Talk because she actually freezes in that talk for quite a bit, and the quality's not great. But you decide if you want to do that. I just knew because I had boys that I was going to have to do something a little bit different, and that's just a quick overview. If you guys want more, just pop it in the chat, and I'll tell you more about that. But we're really here to this handshake stage of, we want to create a greeting page. So I'm going to show you what I did on my greeting page. The place you put it is actually on your school's page. You can make your school name into a wiki page. Okay, so I click on Westwood Schools, and I've already set up mine. I have 4 periods of students, and I'm going to let the kids brainstorm about other things about us. But I also have each period class proposing a tweet, at least one tweet that I'm going to tweet out. Probably, I'm not promising I'm going to tweet it from Cool Cat Teacher. I have a class Twitter account. If they're amazing, I'll tweet them out from my account, but I have to be careful because those kids just get so eager and get into this envy thing. And I have 118,000 followers, and I'm not going to tweet junk. So I'm just real careful about what I tweet from there. But this is what I'm structuring with the kids. You're welcome to look at my page, and you copy or you be your own person. You do it any way you want to meet your objectives. That's your, however you want to share yourself with the rest of the classes, that's totally up to you and what you want to do. But that's kind of where we are with our handshake. Now, when we start seeing these handshakes go up, it's really important, since we can't blog yet, that say when some of mine start going up, you can have your students come in here and leave a comment on the discussion and add a discussion and say, hey, I have a question about this or that. I'm going to do the same thing with you guys. So once your pages go up, I'm actually going to give my kids a grid of every single school on the project. And I'm going to say, I want each of you to give a meaningful comment to each school on the project. Now, I'm going to have them just do a screen grab and put that on Haiku Learning, because that's kind of how I have them do that. But you can just, a lot of teachers just do the checklist, and that's plenty, because they will usually do this, and get them to have the conversations. Our goal is to have at least 3 turns in conversation as much as possible. So if Lisa says something, Natalie answers back, and Dawn answers back, and then Rita says something, we have now created a good handshake. That is what's considered a good digital handshake, because we actually only needed the first 3 turns of conversation. And a turn of conversation would not be, yeah, that's cool, yeah, oh, right. A turn of conversation would be, Dawn, it is so awesome that you like to play volleyball. Is your volleyball team very good? And Dawn says, we're pretty good, but I'm not really sure. Do any else of you like to play volleyball? And Rita says, oh, we love to play volleyball where I am, blah, 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 right? We've had 3 turns of conversation, and so now those people know that the other person is real. So that's what we're looking for, is to not just have kids post a comment, but to encourage them to reply to other kids' comments. This is when you cover the objective. How many of you have as an objective to teach discussion boards, where what is the thread, and if you have something you want to say that's different from that thread, to create a new thread, but if not, reply to the same thread. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Just nod your head or say no or yes.
Yeah.
Okay, some of you do. Natalie, I can give you some material, but it's the standards that have to do with helping kids understand a discussion board. So we can use this add discussion here to help kids understand a typical discussion board. And since Dawn and Rita, you nodded your heads yes, if you have anything that you want to share. We've got that Twitter hashtag, Lisa. But anyway, we can help you with discussions. Natalie will help you. And if you want us to spend some more time on that, then just go through the Google group and say, hey, Vicki, we need more time on this. And I can talk more about that when that happens. We're not quite there yet, but when it's time, just ping me and we'll talk about that. Okay. So this is the first piece. Any questions on this piece of the handshake? So our objective for the handshake is to help kids build trust, to help us as teachers build trust, and to help the kids know that the other people are real people on this planet, real students just like them. Because the first thing that they'll ask, like my kids are asking today, is, do I get to meet these kids? And my answer was, yes, online. And they're like, oh, I'm like, no, you're meeting them online, and you'll see. And it'll be cool. And because usually they show themselves and they have just personality, they do get excited about each other. So Natalie, Dawn, Rita, any questions on this?
I just put my question in a chat, but I'll ask you.
Yeah.
So I haven't looked at Wikispaces in years. Because I tend to use, either Google sites, or we use Haiku. We're a Haiku school, so we use that wiki. And I'm just trying to figure out there.
Oh, I'm Haiku too. I love Haiku Learning.
Yeah,
that's what we use.
Me too. But
yeah.
But that's not going to connect us to another school. And it looks like this Wikispaces is, but I'm just not sure what that's going to look like as a discussion. So I asked, can you show us what the discussion?
Sure. Guys, go to this page right here. I'm going to throw it in the chat, and make sure you're logged into the wiki, and we're going to model it right now. So I just posted a thread, okay, on this page, and Lisa will probably be the fastest because she's so fast, but we'll see. I just put, are there any questions on this? Ask your questions here. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and hit comment on that thread. So I created a thread called, are there any questions on this? And let me know when you do it, and I'll hit refresh. You are fast. So you can see that Lisa has replied to my thread here. And let me, other feedback on, I'm making a new thread. Oops. And I hope those listening to the teacher show will come here and see this as well. We can now see that I have 2 threads going, okay? And each thread is a conversation topic. Oh, look, Bullis MS Tech, very good. And she said hello. So we have 2 topics going here on this discussion area. Now, oh, somebody just called in. Do we know who just joined us by telephone? It's a 404. Is that you, Junior?
Yes, that is me. Sorry I'm
Hey.
late. I just came back from a performance with the kids.
Oh, Junior's in
Huh?
charge of their step club. So we're online too. Are you able to see the online stuff, or are you just on the phone today?
I'm just on the phone today.
Okay.
I could pull up my laptop right now, so I can.
Well, I'm going to say right now is not going to be super exciting because we have them commenting on the wiki. We're talking about the discussion boards. You want to pick up the beginning of it because we are helping the students get to know each other on through handshake. So we're on the lesson plan page, the handshake and heartbreak mapping, and
Yes.
That's the page we're on. And at the bottom of the page, we've got everybody commenting on the discussion thread. So, Rita, you asked that question. It was a great question. I'm glad you asked it. Is this helping kind of see how it works?
Yeah.
Dawn
I mean, is this, so here they would post what you put up as the how to introduce themselves. That would be a separate thread, and then other kids would respond to that thread while posting their own threads?
No. Okay, so every school makes a page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here I'm on the school's page. So I'm going to click edit, and I am going to go ahead and that's Rita. Do I have here? There's Rita. Okay, Rita, I'm going to turn this into a page here. I'm going to do bracket. Okay, I'm going to hit save. Now, on this, if you go to the schools page, you can click Bullis School, and now you can turn that into your welcome page because I've already done my welcome page. You can see Westwood Schools here, and this is what my students are going to be doing. So, Rita, after my students post some of their multimedia welcome, I've got them sharing a little bit of the heartbreaks they've brainstormed.
Yeah, okay, I remember.
Then the other students will comment. So y'all students will comment on our page and say, hey, Westwood students, I have a question about this or that, right? And the Westwood students will go on the other pages and leave comments on those other pages. So the order is this. Number 1, the kids post their handshake videos and their welcome information, greeting everybody on their welcome handshake page. And then the second part is the kids, you'll have them join in the wiki so they can do this. I'll have mine join tomorrow. You'll have them commenting. We'll have them commenting or using the discussion thread to comment on each other's handshake page. Does that make sense now?
Yeah, but then I guess I'm not seeing how they're going to do this at at 3 or 4 levels like you mentioned. Because they're going to be mostly just looking at somebody else's and then responding to those responses. But I think I'm all right.
Well, this is just the very beginning. Once they're on the blog, which should happen next week, Courseranc's is rolling out a new version of Courseranc's this week. So they asked if they could get on the blog next week. So ideally, we were going to blog this week and have the kids respond on each other's blogs, but we've adapted because we do want to go ahead. And when we're all in Courseranc's, we want to be using the right version of Courseranc's and not an older version and then have to upgrade. So, yeah, if that makes sense. So they're going to be making their wiki page. We'll be using the discussion to comment on each other's page. And that's kind of how we're starting the handshake. Now, The other thing that's going on at the same time, I'm going to go back to Handshake and Heartbreak page. This is kind of where we're going for right now, is we're adding our class times and then the times that you can't be to the be here, like, you know, your testing, spring break, to the class times calendar, okay? And I've got a tutorial for you and how you can do that. Now, I had a link to the class times calendar up here. Lisa, I'll give you this to you to do. Would you just please come under here, number 3, and link class times calendar to the calendar page? That would be great.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to click on calendar on the right-hand side because we can get there as well.
Calendar.
Okay, so we have 2 forms of calendars here. We have the project calendar, which tells us when things are happening up here at the top. So when you have a teacher's meeting and you're like, I don't have time to go in my email, I'm too stressed, what time is that meeting? You can go here on the project calendar on the calendar page and know any official meetings that we have. And you can follow that, get notifications, whatever. And as we adjust dates, we'll get that up for you. Then you've got your class times calendar. And what I like to do is I actually like to go directly to this calendar. Let me see if I can get to the calendar, on the calendar here. Oh, I'm just going to click on in more detail, see if I can get onto the calendar. So when you get into the calendar here, I can see that who is the DMS code? Who is DMS?
That's Natalie, I believe. Driver.
Yes.
Okay. So I was looking and seeing that next week that Natalie and I have some overlaps with my 9th grade class and her 8th grade class. Maybe it wasn't next week, it was the next. So if I look at this, I can say, okay, Natalie, we've got some overlap time. So do we want to schedule a meetup? A meetup is when we schedule a time for our classes to meet through Skype or Google. This is completely optional. You do not have to do this. I like to try to have one meetup per class if possible, but it's not required. So what we're doing is, used to way back in the dark ages, 10 years ago, when we wanted to have meetups, the way we did it is we had this nightmare email list going back and forth of my class time is this and my class time is that and this is my time zone. It was a disaster. It was horrible. I just stopped trying. For 2 or 3 years, I stopped trying. But then we're like, hey, let's use Google Calendar and let's just use it intelligently. So what we do is you each put your times when you're going to be out. So see, I can see that Natalie is testing this week. So as we plan this week, I'll know that Natalie won't be able to work on the project this week. You can see I'm on winter break on Friday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, all that, right? So you don't have to freak out and go, well, where is Vicki on Friday? I mean, I'll be around an email, but you don't have to freak out because you don't see my students, right?
Yeah.
You can see spring breaks and all the other stuff, okay? So what you want to add, and I show you the procedures for how to add this onto the calendar in the quick little video that I recorded for you guys. So if you're not familiar with Google Calendar, you just don't understand, we each start off with our code, and we each kind of color code our color. So I'm orange, and then you can see that Natalie is this lovely turquoise kind of color. And you each just pick your color. So this is just something that you can do this week. And then what you do, let me go back here. What you do when you say, okay, Natalie and I are in there at the same time. You kind of get in the driver's seat and you email Natalie and you say, Natalie, I see that we're in class at the same time. Do you want to connect? Okay. You decide you want to connect. And if 2 of you want to connect, you connect. That is, you're a teacherpreneur. You connect. But if you will, tell the rest of us. So we want to put that on the project calendar as an official meetup time, because other teachers may have an after school club, like Junior has an after school club, but he might kind of want them to meet, and he might look and say, oh, you know what? That's during our lunch. I can get the kids for 10 minutes. We want to come too. Right? So it's kind of like an open invitation for everybody else. So once you see that you have a match, you say, hey, we want to do it. You tell Lisa, she makes sure it goes on the project calendar. You decide how you want to meet: Google Hangout, Skype, Zoom room. We'll give you a Zoom room if you want one. Lisa and I might not be able to be there, but we can figure it out, get you trained or whatever needs to happen. And you just want to plan ahead what it is you want to talk about. Now, if I'm able to schedule meetups with any of you guys, what I was hoping that the kids could, the more we can get them talking about their heartbreaks,
Yes.
the better we're off we're going to be. So if we can go ahead and get kids to say, okay, these are my heartbreaks, and this is some of the things that really bother me, and what do you guys think? And have them talking, then we can start having some connections made between the teams. So that's an overview of the live events. Please go to the tutorial video that's going to show you guys how to make the how to do this stuff on the Google project. So think of this as flipped professional development, or a flipped teachers meeting. Okay, so we're not doing tutorials here. We're flipping it, giving you the videos. I upload them to my YouTube account. They're available here. If you can't access YouTube, let me know and we'll get you access. We can upload them to TeacherTube as well if necessary. Are there any questions on this part? On the class times, calendars, and the meetups? Go ahead, Junior.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
Is it only the winter breaks? I mean, only the spring breaks and time off that we're placing on here, so that we know, I mean, spring breaks and time off, as well as the dates that our teams are meeting.
Yeah.
Or
we are putting, we're putting, let me see the bullets here. So you put the class times of when you're meeting with your team, when you're in class, or when you're meeting with them, because you're after school. So what time are you meeting?
Yes.
You want to put any times you're unavailable to be on the project. And you just do that as kind of like a full day thing. You don't actually say we're unavailable from 8 to 5. You just put a full day. You can see like how I did my spring break and how we did our exams and testing. So when you're like, we got a test, you put that on there so that we can kind of plan, because I'm looking, once you guys put all this on there, I've got to create a revised calendar for the whole project so everybody knows when everything is going to happen. But I can't do that until I see everybody's testing calendar and everybody's spring break calendar. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
So it's a double purpose. Number one, when are we out? And number two, when can we connect?
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. And y'all, this is a best practice for any time you do a global collaboration. Like, we're teaching you, this is the stuff you do. When I did my flat classroom certified teacher training, this was one of the first things I taught teachers how to do, because it's the only easy way to make time for what they used to call mystery Skype, but now they're just calling class connections and that kind of thing. Okay. Are there any questions on that?
This is maybe more general question, but it has to do with calendar and time, which is, I'm just wondering, what do you foresee the time commitment for our classes, our students, for on a weekly basis to finish through this?
Remember that there are optional items, which I'll always say, this is optional or that's optional. Like the meetups, those are optional. The handshake is part of what we're doing. So you want to do the handshake and then the heartbreak map, right? So I would say typically, 2 hours a week, 2.5 would be minimum. I'm going to be I have 5 52-minute periods, and I'm saying, okay, maybe one of those a week might be taken away by SAT prep or something. So I'm looking at 4 52-minute periods, 4 to 5 days a week. For some, it can be done in less. We're just going to have to adjust once we see when people are in class. So I need to see your guys' calendars, and then we adapt, if that makes sense. But everything we do, we have a required component and an optional component. And I'll always, at the teacher meetings, clarify what's optional and what is something that we're definitely doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that was one of the concerns I had. So I'm just trying to understand. So through the end of the project, sometime into May, or I forget if that's how far it went, we're thinking probably 2.5 hours a week commitment from our class.
Oh, we're getting an echo. I would say, Rita, that would be the minimum. When the kids get into doing the apps and that kind of thing, they're going to typically want to spend more.
Well, I know, like I said, we're just in the thick of it now, and just the content building takes a long time. So, okay.
You mean content building? Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The plan, well, I don't want to go back through the timeline and the big
Yeah.
picture because we've got to finish in 20 minutes.
Trying to get a better idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If everybody will put their stuff on the calendar, I will revise and I'll be able to see how many hours a week everybody's in, and I'll revise the calendar and we'll work with it. And then we also have these weekly meetings, Rita, to adjust and say, hey,
okay.
I'm behind on this, I'm ahead, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we're in the classroom and student handshake piece. We're getting very close to wiki editing and sharing of heartbreaks. I've already set up how we're going to be sharing those heartbreaks. I've got that in there. So first of all, make sure you added your information to the schools page. There is a tutorial. Second, we've got the school student handshake page. Let's get on those, get those going. If you want to do an intro like I did today, you can, however you want to do it. I've given you suggestions. There are 3, pieces of this. I've given you as suggestions as ways people have done this before, but you do what you want to do. And like Junior, they have all these videos of him their step club. So he's already got videos. He's not going to have a problem with that. Junior, why don't you say hey, since everybody else hasn't met you real quick, and then we'll keep going.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Junior Bernadette. I'm the IT manager at the Ron Clark Academy, also a robotics coach and a STEP team coach as well.
Hi.
Hi. Who's all on here? And then I see Lisa, of course, and I see Vicky. Rita?
Yes.
Got Rita, we've got Dawn, and
Hi.
we've got, take
Natalie.
your mic off for
I
a
didn't
second.
recognize.
Dawn and Rita and Natalie.
Hey, Dawn, how are you doing? Then we have, is that Natalie?
Yes.
Okay, I just remember Natalie's name from the calendar.
Oh, that's good. Oh, gosh, don't go there. No.
Yeah. Rita, you want to go off mic and say hi? I mean, you want to go on mic and say hi? You're muted.
Well, I was saying stuff. Hi.
How are you doing?
Myself.
There we go. Good. Okay. So then we've got the greeting page. We already talked about that. Set it up as you wish. Add your information to the class times calendar. This is how we look and find where a meetup is. I was looking at this going, okay, we've got a possibility for a meetup. We always try to use our student code as much as possible. When your students join the wiki, if you're able to make that code be part of their names, that's great. Unfortunately, my students are already part of Wiki Spaces, so they'll be the ones without a code. I can't really help that. I don't know that I can do anything about it, but that's probably, I may try to get them to edit their names. I'll see if that's possible so they can have WHS on it. And we talked about live events, and now we've got heartbreak mapping. So here's the question. I've thrown a whole lot at you guys tonight that needs to be done. I seriously doubt any of you guys are going to be ready for heartbreak mapping. I've already got it set up though, and I'm ready to teach it and show you what to do. I've already got video tutorials on how to do the heartbreak mapping. I need a vote in the chat. If you want to see how this is going to work and get a quick 2 to 3 minute overview of how this is going to work, I want you to type yes. If you're overloaded and you don't think you can do one more thing, I want you to type no. Oh, we got yeses. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, here we go. So here's how it works. I've got 2 related pages, and I've got how to add a heartbreak tutorial. Okay, so you go to tutorial, and it's going to show you how this works. Okay, now I modeled this after Flat Classroom and that sort of thing, and what we do with that. So here is the vision for how I'm proposing that we do this. But teachers, remember, we're in alpha mode. If we decide we want to adapt, we have the right to tweak this. Okay, you have the right to say, Vicki, that I would like to propose something different. Okay, so what we want to do, our students, so what I like to do first is have students brainstorm. And what I had some of them do today, the ones who moved faster, is I said, okay, I want you to come up with 10 to 20 heartbreaks, legitimate heartbreaks with you and your group, and talk about them. You know, things that break your heart about the world. And some would share, you know, back and forth, and they would share, okay? And then when we connect, I'm going to have them talk about their heartbreaks. On the handshake page, I'm going to have them just share an overview of some of their heartbreaks that they're talking about the world. But then the students are going to pitch to me and say, Miss Vicki, I want to map my heartbreak on such and such, okay? And I just do that verbally. Usually I travel around the room and say, I want to map my heartbreak on, I've got one that's already talking about pet adoption, okay? I've already got one talking about bullying, so I went ahead and made that one, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to come to this page and you're going to see, is there already that topic there, okay? So I've already made bullying. So let's say Junior has some kids who want to talk about bullying too, right? Well, he's not going to have to make a new topic page because it's already there, okay? So his kids are going to work on the bullying page with the other kids who've signed up to work on bullying. And they're going to be mapping their heartbreak together. Now, here's the template I've created for this. We can tweak this template. But when I say map their heartbreak, typically it is done with, let me go back to the lesson plan. I think I have it here. Handshake and heartbreak mapping page. Go to the bottom. And this is the Angela Myers one that I was mentioning. This is the Angela Myers Map Your Heartbreak page. I am going to throw this in the chat. Read this page. They are updating it. It's not updating on my screen. Come on. Maybe it'll update in a minute. There we go. They are updating this right now for us. So Mark Moran, who works with Angela, is going to let us know. But these are the template that helps you get kids to their heartbreak. Okay, so I'm going to be using these questions and have kids answer these questions. Okay, and so this will help you get mapped to your heartbreak. There is a video about how it works as well, and you can even see what students create. Now, you can have your students create on poster paper and snap a picture and put it on the wiki. However you want them to map their heartbreak. It could be on a Prezi. It could be on a Google Doc. It can be in any way that they choose. You can see these are some heart maps that Karen, she calls herself McTeach, but Karen, what's her last name? You can tell me. Lisa knows her well too. But this is what some of her kids did to map their heartbreak. But see here, this is exactly what we're picked a chart. That's great. Image Chef. Anybody else have suggestions for what you're thinking about mapping your heartbreaks with? Padlet, you mean, Dawn? Maybe? Yeah, Padlet's a great one. I was actually thinking about doing a Padlet. You know, if we have a whole bunch of kids on a topic, we probably want to let them do a Padlet, but you can do it as you see fit. So let's go back to how this is going to work. If I can find, I've got everything in the world open here. Gosh. Okay, so this is the heartbreak mapping page. Now let's pretend like there is another topic being added here, okay? So somebody give me a topic that you think the kids will want to do. I'm going to delete it in a minute. Give me a topic, somebody, so you can see me do this. Suicide prevention. Okay. Now I do the easy way to make a new page. The easy way is to put it in double brackets. Now when I save it, it's going to make a new page. But if you cannot remember that, I'm a geek. It's easy for me. But if you can't remember that, you can also type the words, click link, and then all you have to do is just have link text and the wiki and the page name suicide prevention and click add link, and that'll make it too. Now when I hit save, I've got a new page to link to, okay? So I'm going to click suicide prevention, but hey, there's nothing there yet. There is, with the exception that Miss Vicki has misspelled the word template, but it's really, really hard to correct at this point. So for now, we're just going to leave the misspelling in because that's how wikis are, okay? So I do know how to spell template, but I was really tired and it was late Friday. Okay, so heartbreak mapping template. When I hit this template as I like to say with my students, boom, there it is. I hit save. It's all there. And the kids can just start creating. Okay, so there's no work for you to do. It's already there. Now, this purple at the top, this is a thing that Lisa and I learned how to do when we had 800 or 900 kids editing a wiki. I know how to edit these. It automatically goes on the top of every Heartbreak page with like a mini wiki. It's a really geeky concept. If you really get into wikis and want to know how I do it, I can tell you. But the only thing you need to remember is when the kids hit edit, it looks like a gray box. See it? I see lots of heads nodding yes. Perfect. Don't delete it. Okay? Just leave it there. Don't delete it. Because when you hit save, you'll see it. Now, you also see this concept on all the other pages. We have this thing called an announcement thing. So you see these lovely purple boxes at the top. See where it says current project announcements? That's going to be at the top of pretty much every page except the Heartbreak pages, okay? So if you're like, I don't know what to do, look at the purple box at the top, and you can see Handshake pages will be linked on the schools page. Heartbreak maps will be shared on the student Heartbreak mapping page. See teacher instructions. We did this because once we get going, you'll see that news media and our parents and everybody on the planet are going to be coming to the site once we get going. And we do not have time to answer all the emails of telling people where stuff is. Okay. Now, if you can't find it, just type it in the search box and it's going to be there. Okay. The search box is a great friend. And you can always scroll to the bottom and see all the pages. You know, you can see all the pages here. But now we have some other ones. The keynote will be up here when that gets recorded. We will not be able to do the keynote with classes. Angela's traveling and she's going crazy. So I'm just going to jump into a Zoom room for about 20 minutes on Wednesday. We're going to record it. And all the classes, including mine, will get to hear that at the same time as soon as it goes up. Okay? Now, does that kind of give you an overview of how this is going to work? The only trick is this. When the kids are doing their Heartbreak mapping, if we end up with 20 or 30 kids, or really even 10 or 15 kids on one Heartbreak page, you guys got to email me through the Google group ASAP, because there's a trick I can do to make it so that a lot of kids can edit on the page at the same time without having wiki wars, okay? But I'm not going to do it unless we have a whole bunch of kids on a page. If there's 3 or 4 kids on a page, it's not necessary to go to that headache. But if you see that we have a bunch of kids, you need to email me the link. Say, Vicki, get on that Boolean page. Can you make it? Because we're having wiki wars and we're having problems. And then we'll go through that. Also, when we get into this, I would like you to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how good you are on the wiki. If you are a super pro on the wiki, you would rank yourself a 10. If you're just not so great or you're really super rusty, mark yourself a 1. So I can kind of see our wiki level of ability, because all of this is like flipped classroom. I'll make the tutorials as you ask for them. Lisa is a negative 22. That is not true. So throw in the chat. Super rusty. Thank you, Junior. Newbie 1, awesome. That's fine. We'll get you there. A 4, good. Cool. Yeah, y'all are all quick learners. I think you're going to be fine. I think what I'll need to do is probably do some wiki tutorial videos. How many of you would like basic wiki tutorial videos? Because I was going to make some for my students anyway. I can make them for everybody if that'll help you. Okay. So I need to make some basic wiki tutorial videos. If you guys will give me this week, I'll get those done for you. And Lisa and I'll split those up. Okay. And we'll do that. Now, one other thing, we have 6 minutes left. When your kids ask you why wiki, okay, I think that wikis are one of the most important new technologies that has come out with Web 2.0. And I know Web 2.0 is an old word now and all that kind of stuff. We've been talking about it for way more than 10 years, and now everybody's talking about Web 3 and Web 4. The word wiki came from Ward Cunningham, the inventor of the wiki, in the Hawaiian airport. He heard the Wiki shuttle, which is the shuttle that goes quickly from the airport to downtown Honolulu. Wiki means quickly in Hawaiian. That's where the word wiki came from. It did not come from Wicca witchcraft. It came from wiki, Wiki Shuttle, it's Hawaiian, okay? You will have parents who will ask you about the witchcraft. So just know that's where it came from. I always explain it to my students, and y'all are laughing, but I've been living this for a long time, and they do. But it's the foundation of Wikipedia. You can also go to EOL.org. That's the Encyclopedia of Life.org. The scientists are using a wiki to try to catalog every single life form on this planet. So the wiki is the most academic form of collaborative technology, much more acceptable than Google Docs. And here's the reason. It tracks every single edit on the page, and it has a date and time that the person edited it. So it's the only one that truly meets academic standards, and it's the one they need to know for going to college. So serious academic pursuits typically end up on a wiki. We are using Wiki Spaces, which uses an easier form of wikis than does the Wikipedia method. But if they know how to edit this wiki, they can pretty much edit Wikipedia if they know how. Any other questions on wiki? And that's how you sell it, because so many people don't know what a wiki is. And it's just like, because everybody just thinks, oh, Google Docs. Yeah, Google Docs are great because they're easy, but it doesn't pass the academic muster that a wiki does, if that makes sense to you guys. Any questions that you have on this? I'm just trying to give you the tools to sell this to admin and to relate to standards and all that kind of stuff, because a lot of people don't understand this kind of thing. Any questions on the wiki, why the wiki, the basic? Now, guys, you may not remember it, and it's okay, because you got this cute little video about how to add a, make a new wiki page. And remember, you don't have to watch it little. You can click it, go straight to YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Okay? What other questions do you guys have? Let me go back to my slides, see if I have anything else I've missed. I don't think I do, but Keynote is being recorded Wednesday. You'll be getting that. Hope to be up blogging next week. You will get a spreadsheet from us to be able to put the names you want for your students. It does not have to be real names. It can be pseudonyms, and you can use email or not use email. And we'll get the blogging stuff up for them next week. They'll be blogging on WordPress. And Dawn has a question. Go ahead, Dawn. I can't hear you. Now I can.
I'm muting my microphone. No, about signing the kids up. Are we supposed to be signing them up or giving them a sign in, or is it something that they can just sign up for freely to get access to the wiki?
They can. Now, Lisa Durf has a join code. Lisa, do you want to give them the join code again? I think she put it in the Google Drive.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way to
put that in there.
Yeah, she did earlier. So we just give that join code to the kids?
That is probably the easiest way to do it. There's also other ways you can do it. Where did I put that?
You know, when you gave me the
top, I'm copying it. Here it is.
Yeah, it gave me when I started to use the join code, and when you mentioned that, I went into my Google Drive and it let me write in. I don't know if it's because you'd put my name in already. So then I'm on my other computer I use for other things at home, and my husband's Google Drive was attached. And when I went to the Google Drive, all I did was sign in as, I thought it was me. I didn't realize he had his as the default. And it went ahead and signed me in under his name. So I don't know if just going in through your Google Drive, you have it open. I didn't need to put the join code in anywhere, but I couldn't sign in per se with a username and password, if you know what I mean.
I don't know if is it related to GAFE, to Google Apps, Lisa?
I don't think it is, but
I went in through Google Apps.
Saving the information somehow.
Yeah. So I don't know, but if you had Chrome Sync turned on, there might be some kind of thing
I
going
had
on
Chrome
there.
on. Yeah, and then when it asked like permission to sync the app for wikis into my Google thing, it asked me that little quickie permission that they do. It went right in, but it let me sign in when using my husband's, who he had and this computer hadn't been in ever, the wiki thing. So that's what I thought was weird, because it was like I was him, and it let me in as him. And then I had to log back out of that Google Drive and get my account back in, and it let me in as me right away again.
Okay, so I would say go with the Wikispaces join code there. I'm just going to post mine on Haiku Learning with mine. If you have any trouble, reach out with Lisa. It is 8 p.m. and 14 seconds. And one thing you're going to find is that we don't run over unless there's a huge reason, and we need to end on time. So if you have other questions, I'll hang around. You can get your questions answered, but it's 8 o'clock here, and some of you guys are east and some other places. So remember, we're doing handshakes. We're mapping our heartbreak. We've got the keynote. We're getting ready for students to blog and share this month. When you listen to the meeting, if you can't come ever, that's okay. Just please listen to the meeting, type all your questions in, try everything out as we're trying stuff. Do remember to communicate. Y'all, Angela and Alethea and I are totally 150% committed to this because we believe that this is the future of how kids need to work together. And but you guys are the pioneers. We're all pioneering together. So if you have any concerns, any questions, we're here to help. Just Skype me, Skype Lisa, email us, and we can jump in and help you guys. Okay? If anybody has questions, you may stay, and I'll answer those questions. But it's 8:01, and so let's turn the recording